Okay, so we are still on our AfricaNext flash conference on the Constitution, Politics, Technology. Very, very happy to have one of my chief sponsors in town, Mr. Ken Fosu from the Knowledge Space. Ken, you've been with us all through. I have not captured you enough on tape. But I mean, there's a lot happening next year. Of course, we have our elections in December. But then this constitutional review process also puts a lot of stuff on the table. It appears we might even have a referendum either before or maybe even together with the election. Does that load the timetable too much? Can we do all these things?
I would not think it would be proper to have it in an election year. I would rather recommend that it's done after elections, but then...
So what do you suggest? That the election, the report should be shelved?
No. I mean, from now up till after elections, you know, the issues could even be couched in a way as to see, you know, seek feedback from people and so on. So the discussion could be continued, you know, from now up till next 2 years. Yeah.
But some of the issues are perhaps referendum issues. Some just require parliamentary approval. Would you suggest such a deferment for both cases?
No, I wouldn't. I mean, the simple issues that require parliament, maybe we should separate the ones that require a referendum to be shifted to after the elections. The one that just require parliamentary approval, I think that should be straight away separated, and Parliament's support, you know, obtained to move the process.
Let me shift to our new friend, management expert. Can I get your name again, sir?
Michael Kosi.
Okay, Kosi, from NDPI.
Yeah, from Management Development and Productivity Institute.
Okay, I saw you nodding agreement with Ken. Do you think the timetable will be too loaded if you try to push everything through?
In a way loaded, but if you were to sort the issues out,
they could be managed.
Yeah, it could be managed. Now, with the referendum, I think it will be a dry run for the new election because we're going to have this biometric issues. So if we can use even those biometric issues for the referendum, it will teach us certain lessons which we can use for the main 2012 election.
But I think the issue about having it in the election here is that perhaps we will not have enough, how should I put it, subtlety, enough objectivity in discussing these long-term issues. They will become boxed up with the immediate issues of the election.
I think we've always been stressing that election issues should be issue-based. Now, if we can run away from some of the insults that we see and concentrate on the issues, then the election, the referendum issues will just be part of the issues that we need to discuss. So I presume, it could be handled, it could be managed during the election year. Because now look at the other aspect. Assuming there is a change of government, some of these things could then be dragged on unnecessarily. So if these things can be taken on board now, I think it should be manageable. It will just be, looking for additional budget for the Electoral Commission.
To do the referendum. But it's an important point you brought up. I mean, this additional budget issue. Okay, Kofi, I'm going to come to you.
Put my glasses on.
Yes, that's why I warned you. That's why I warned you. I didn't want your girlfriends to see you without your beautiful glasses.
I can look for them. No, I think, I just want to play devil's advocate. I'm not really sure what my position is, but I think every politician, my take-off point is that every political party has an interest in any of these issues. They have a public face to it, but they have a strategic interest going forward long term. There are political parties today that are majority parties, and there are political parties today that can only hope to be in government through coalitions or through attracting independent support. Each of these issues that we're going to deal with will have, whether we like it or not, because they'll be expressed. The Constitution is expressed through the political arrangements, right? I mean, the legal status of final abidance, but the Constitution fundamentally is expressed through political arrangements. So it will be foolhardy to pretend that political parties do not have vested interest in any of these issues. And they will. So depending on the way the referendum questions themselves are framed, and we don't know what they will look like yet, but depending on the framing of the questions.
Actually, in the final report, when we get to see it, the drafts have been presented as part of the assignment.
Yes.
Yes. But there are draft laws in the report. Go on, sir.
But no, I mean, my point being that there will be political ramifications for all the parties, right? And both parties will vigorously press their positions through the referendums, through their proxies, right? So the referendum will actually be stage one of a two-stage election process, whether we like it or not. So we need to be prepared for that. We need to be prepared for the fact that...
So do I read it correctly as, sort of thinking that willy-nilly this referendum will come on next year?
I am not so sure, because I don't think that we've gone through the budget ramifications of having two nationwide elections coming right after each other, one after each other. I don't think we've done that. So I don't know. There'll be a question of
this is something that donors. You are a management consultant. There's something you can easily interest the donors in funding. Very easily. The World Bank will probably chicken.
No, I mean, an election in Ghana runs on order of $100 million. And a presidential election probably costs roughly between $100 and $200 million. The referendum will cost probably $50 million. So I don't know what that appetite is for raising that kind of money to support both ends. Yeah. So if you take that perspective, then what will happen when people try to decide these things?
I can tell you, I was part of an evaluation for USA, trying to help develop a strategy for the next 5 years for democratic governance for the USA. And in our reports, it's like, hey, without constitutional reform, there's really not much more you can do to externally aid good governance in Ghana.
Yeah, the question is not whether there should be constitutional reform. The question is whether the modalities of getting there are easily attainable and at what cost and so on. Now, when things happen and decide to look at, okay, here's the hard budget numbers, right? It will have an impact on what kinds of questions are asked.
Yeah.
How deep we want to go into this, So you might end up having a referendum that's a fluff piece, which would be the worst of all possible worlds. Because of the pressure of saving enough money to have, quote unquote, a fair and free election, right? Because this might be the thing that ensures that, right? So those things will all come into play. So to go back, there will be there will be partisan influences and pressures. B, the budget will also have an impact on what goes on. And 3, you have a really significant process, really significant result. We don't need those things because we don't want the worst of all worlds. A seemingly wonderful referendum that did nothing to help significant constitutional reform.
Well, I'm going to give the final word to our businessman representative. Okay, I'll consider our agent.
You should read before him.
Okay, let me come to you. 2 minutes.
Indeed.
120 seconds idea to change the world.
I'm very probably simplistic about my thinking around this. When we had the referendum to approve the constitution we are trying to change, what did we do? How many people really understood what was in the constitution before we went and voted? Maybe 5%. The rest of us just went along because we thought we needed a constitution. So now we are changing some aspects of it. Has that percentage of people who really care can read it and understand it really change. I don't think.
But the point is, this is the constitutional provision that these entrenched clauses, you have to have a referendum to change.
No, I don't have a problem with referendum. My point is that I would even go to suggest that we should do the referendum side by side the elections themselves. We should have a paper.
That's also possible. We can do the two together.
We shouldn't have two separate things. I mean, in the US, these issues,
several issues, local governments,
there are people who really care about these issues. They will go and see them and they can say yes or no. Majority of us don't really care. It's not that we don't care about politics, or it's not really a big issue for us. The nitty gritty, what is in the constitution or what is not there. So most people will just go along anyway, and it's hard. I mean, we had an interesting situation in Liberia recently where they actually voted against the referendum. In the referendum, they spent about 10 billion or so, and then they didn't get any result. They voted no, you can't change anything. It will be hard to have such a situation in Ghana. I think it will be more yes, overwhelming yes. And so, if that is the case, let's not waste money doing two elections or two processes. Let's put all of them together, let's vote, and the issues that you talked about, a lot of the issues are there. We can discuss them, probably to bring more issues to the table at an election year when we should be talking about issues and insulting each other. Maybe that can help. And then, particularly because majority of the issues can be dealt with in Parliament, they are not entrenched. It's the entrenched things for which require a referendum. Many of them are not necessarily entrenched. So, if that is the case, let's just put it all together. Let's go and vote the same day, vote for.
That's an excellent idea.
And then move on.
Okay, now I'm going to give the final word to the businessman.
Well, Kofi took the weeds. He took the wind out of my sails. Stole my thunder. Look, the question is, do we have the logistical capability to run a referendum? And
we did that in 78, we did that in 91.
Okay, so there's precedence. So we know we can do it. Question number 2, is there the funding for this kind of exercise? Yes, there is. Question number 3, is there the interest of the electorate?
Can somebody take the wine bottle in front of Charles? I don't want to give the impression that he's the only one who's been drinking.
He's been helping me.
All of us have been pitching in. This is AfricaNext. We miss pleasure with business.
There you go. So if we can say yes to all those questions, there's no reason why we can't have an election and referendum on the same ballot.
Okay.
The bottom line is this: from all indications, it's clear that people, the electorate, they're in a fatigue mode.
Yes, now, that's important.
If this constitutional review process can elicit their interest and get them back engaged in the process, I
would say the consultation process got some real engagement. I would say so.
And that's a feather in the cap of the process. Which means then that if all of these logistical issues can be worked out, and you can have both the referendum and the election at the same time, you might see the largest turnout of voters ever, because now you're talking about issues that they're most concerned.
Yeah, election of district executive.
That's right.
I would go and vote twice just so that I get elected.
And by the way, that is what the commission is proposing, that we elect DCs.
It could actually be the best election we've ever had.
Yes.
The most participatory election we've ever had. So Kofi is absolutely right. I think we really should be looking at that kind of arrangement for next year. If it's possible, why not?
I think we should push it actually. This is an interesting thing coming out of this meeting. That we should push so that these things are done together. Let's not waste money. And the issue that would take a lot of people to the polling station is whether or not the district executive should be voted. Yeah, I remember in 91, why it became popular was that the opposition or those who had not been in government were pushing that voting for the constitution meant getting rid of these soldiers. So they came out in their numbers.
So this time, let's say, getting rid of the unelected district chief executive.
Very interesting.
Pitch it directly. But you're going to.
No. I'm telling you that the establishment is going to oppose that.
Is it oppose what?
Having that bill on ballot.
They've already begun opposing it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm telling you, the establishment will oppose it. Primarily because it will bring an insurgent vote to the table.
That they're not sure about.
They're not sure about.
Yeah.
Bring an insurgent vote to the table they're not sure about. So,
is that entrenched? Is that do we need a
pretty much?
No. I think so. I think it is. Pretty much all of the executive is entrenched. Okay. Pretty much, yeah.
So, I mean, again, these are sort of, the game theoretic aspects to what questions get asked, what stakeholders feel like should be, So, I'm interested to observe all these things. I'm not sure that I have a position. I'm just interested to observe, but I know that what issues, what questions end up getting on the table will be filtered through a political prism. Look, right now we've got an equilibrium in this country. We know how to manage that equilibrium. If we disturb that equilibrium too much with a process like this, the backlash, can we control it? And that would be an interesting question. I'm not sure what the answer is. No,
wait. The conversation will go on, but for the purposes of my video, let me try to wrap up and say that this has been the AfricaNext Flash Conference on Politics, Technology, and the Constitution. Something I did in a hurry, especially to try to entice our digital natives. It's the Friday before Christmas. We didn't get enough of them. We have a number of digital immigrants heavily engaged here. The second aspect is that this is the formal global launch listening party of a new series by the legendary Botela. He's the only person I'll put legendary before his name in this world. And the series is called Apia Bridge. I'm going to close this video with a sound from my computer on that. But before I go, let me again say that we dedicate this program to Mr. Atuguba, father of Raymond, who very sadly passed as I started today. Raymond was to be our guest speaker. At least I know Raymond has a sister, Millicent Atuguba, who is running the PR in RLJ. So at least Mr. Atuguba Sr. produced two very influential public figures in this country. Somehow, I'm sure, I suspect that he's happy that his son Raymond's work. I don't think Raymond is a very young man. In point of I taught him. Raymond is a very young man. I'm sure he has many other big achievements ahead of him. But what is going to be one of his big achievements? I mean, helping to run this very important process. At least he lived to see his son deliver on that. So this is to the memory of Mr. Atuguba Sr. I'm going to play something from Ebotela. It's absolutely random. Actually, I should look for a track. Ebotela also has a track here for his late wife. Okay, this is standard her life. We'll take up like that. That is the advantage of controlling the camera. I am the medium.
Next time, make sure you don't control it.
Dance. You have to dance for me.
It detracts from their message. See, they're looking more.
Have to dash out.
real quick.
Yep, permission. Yeah. It's the day before Christmas. I'm really sorry, but we had to do this.
No, this is very important. And we have an agenda going forward of making sure that the referendum happens the same day as the election.
Yeah.
See you.
Okay, yeah.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks.
Yeah.
See you.